If you've been watching our channel for the last couple of years, you'll have seen two complete amateur DIYers take a rusty old unloved narrowboat and turn it into a floating coffee shop. And then we spent the next year taking it around the UK canals, trying to figure out how to make coffee and how to run a cafe.
Hello.
No taker.
No taker.
And we made a lot of mistakes. And we learned a lot of lessons along the way, like don't order loads and loads of ice cream if you haven't got the freezer space to store it. It doesn't all fit. But now, at least, if you came to the cafe, I'd be reasonably confident that you'd get a decent cup of coffee and you'd definitely get a really good slice of cake. The trouble is, some of our handiwork on the boat betrays its amateur roots.
In the bin.
And so before we set off this year, we've enlisted the help of some much more capable hands to try and give the cafe boat the love it deserves. So join us and see what it looks like, see what boat fitting looks like when you don't do it yourself.
Hey!
There comes a time in any DIY job when two boys like DJ and I need to go shopping. It's a pretty wet Wednesday, but we're just off out to get a few supplies for the next few jobs on the list. Mostly that's timber and fuel lines and stuff like that. So we're going to visit a chandler's and a timber merchant's. First up is the chandler's, just to pick up some boaty bits. Got my list, got the chandler's to ourselves, it seems like. Trick is though, not to just get distracted by things that you might quite want. Loads of little brass things to tempt you. 16ths. You can see it. Gets quite confusing with all the 5/16ths, 3/8ths, 5/8ths talk, doesn't it? We've been stood in this aisle trying to get our heads around whether it's 5/16ths or 3/8ths. Nice.
Happy days. On to the next stop.
This next stop is the timber merchants. This place is epic though, isn't it? Start pissing off. Thanks very much, mate. Nice. We're dividing and conquering today. I'm on with a little bit of fuel line for the Webasto, Fuel Line Maria. That's my name today. David's doing some wood for the side hatches. That's why they call David and I the two spinning discs of fury. One sanding, one grinding. That's how we roll. The fuel line's going to tee off into this filter, fuel filter. So I'm just going to make up a little bracket for that in a very similar way to the way we made the bracket for the exhaust silencer. Here's where this one will go. Pretty similar to the last one.
Bringing all the colour out.
That brush has seen some action, hasn't it?
It's seen better days.
Just come back to zero to make us some sandwiches, but the biggest challenge for sandwich making is just how dirty your hands get when you've been working grinding steel and stuff like that. So that's the first thing to do. Quick hand wash and then sandwich making, here we come. Jo made some focaccia last night. A little bit of the old Parma ham. And what about a bit of the old mozzarella? A few little fresh tomatoes. That's how we lunch on the DIY days. No messing around. I'll give David the big one. He's done more work than me, let's face it. I'll just wave the camera around.
Oh well, let's go in for this.
Me and Dave are going to be speaking in vowel sounds only for the next few minutes.
We have a rare sight, Narrowboatus Bodius, caught live.
Bastard. Lunch is over. Now I'm back in my little den down here in the engine room, just trying to get that bracket secured to this little box thing that we're using. Before I fit this fuel filter on to my bracket, this little thing, see this little plastic thing there, I need to replace that because they come with this plastic thing but it doesn't meet boat regulations. Luckily, one of the things that I bought from the Chandlers, as well as this filter, was also they sell the little metal plug that replaces it. There it is, all metal. I'm just putting the lagging on the exhaust, just a little finishing touch, just to kind of help insulate it a little bit, because obviously the exhaust gets a bit hot, so it will just help stuff around it not get too hot. It's actually quite difficult to put on, and it's quite hard to film and put it on at the same time. See whether that's leaking, or rather where it's leaking from. I can see it dripping. I was just trying to be sure that it was dripping from the bit that I haven't sort of connected up yet, rather than the two bits that I have. It might leak still. It just need a little bit of tightening up, but Not leaking so much yet. A little visit.
Yes, from your family. Don't forget about us, will you?
How are you guys doing?
Good. We're just going to go down to the bins, I think. But it will be quite a nice trip on a day like today.
Yeah.
How's it going here?
Yeah, pretty good really. I'm just cutting into the fuel line.
Oh, looks quite different from when I last saw it.
Yeah, probably
Lots
will.
of different stuff poking out of it. It's so cool when we can get that, when we can switch that on for the first time. I was just thinking about it today, like how much of a difference that will make.
Yeah.
At the flick of a button.
It's going to be huge,
What?
isn't it?
Yeah.
There it is. You maybe wouldn't look at that and think that such an innocent looking little T connection could pose such a daunting conundrum. But actually that was a job, cutting into that fuel line was a job that I was quite daunted by, and I've been putting off until now. So at this stage we're going to have a little reward coffee.
There a little bit. Nice. Right. Make some sawdust. That gives me near enough a square piece chopped out of there. There's actually 4 inches on the pencil line. Right, so I'll do that all the way up to that point there, and that's a quick easy way of just altering the moulding, and then I can put the next one in and scribe onto it.
It's like precision work with a very big saw.
Just so I can get in. And then there's another one that's going to scribe up and go up, and that will then go over that, call that edge up. It's
Nice.
in the madness somewhere. I've just got to find it here.
Just trying to get this little pipe run sorted, but it's quite finicky, isn't it? It's only got a short way to go and it's got a bit of a tight turn to do. So we're just in a sort of process of offering up, cutting down, cleaning up. Blah, blah. Right. It's what we're thinking about the whole thing.
Ooh, netograph.
I'm worried I took a tiny bit much off.
That'd be right. Drum roll, please.
Yeah, come on, come on. Well, there's my fuel line, all in and looking quite shiny and complete. It goes through the sort of stopcock on and off taps kind of thing, into that filter, down through the loop, which is there not only for decorative purposes, but also because it kind of helps with the vibration. Like when the engine's on and the whole thing's vibrating a little bit better, that it just sort of gives it a little buffer against vibration. But what's perhaps the most unusual is that we've put a little bit of blue roll down so that we can spot any leaks, and so far, touch wood, no leaks. This morning felt like the borderline between two seasons. I went for a run in the mists of early springtime, did some press-ups on the frost of late winter, came home, had a shower, and tried my hand at Voiceover. Voiceover, read slow, can turn a small thought into a long, profound video sequence. it can offer a time for reflection, a collective breath as we transition from one scene to the next. Here's an advert. Don't like the look of your lunch.
A little bit of not very liquid, but very liquid on there.
Fair enough liquid.
See if that's warmed up enough. Oh, come on, in you go, in you go.
Here's the test. For the first time, what do you reckon, Manuel?
Did you press that one in off?
Didn't do anything.
I thought that light would have come on.
Maybe manual's not the button you press.
Don't ask me, I'm a chimp.
We've got it working somehow. Well,
A random sequence of button presses.
working is a strong word. There's some signs of life anyway.
Doesn't sound very happy.
Doesn't sound too happy, does it?
Hey. Oh. Just there in there.
Sounds a bit better, doesn't it?
Do it again. Do it again.
It's nearly emptied that tank.
Drop the brake off then. More water, please.
That's a bit dramatic, isn't it?
It really is.
What we're doing is
Because
we'd filled up the header tank with water, but basically there's still air in the system and it doesn't like the air. And that noise that sounds a bit crazy is the pump pumping air. Well, we think.
airlocked.
Yeah. I wasn't filming it, but I wish I was, but I just wiggled one of the hoses and it all of a sudden went and loads of water went rushing through, so maybe that's where it was now. Maybe we've got some of the air out and more of the water in. I'm just going to top up this header tank again and we'll go again. Let's give it a go.
Bit brave, let's stick it back on. We need to work out how to switch this rock and control off's the problem.
I know. We're just turning it on.
Stabbing buttons has got it on, but I don't know which buttons I stabbed to get it on.
We're turning it on just from the breaker for now because that control unit has foxed us both. Here we go.
That's better.
Sounds better, doesn't it?
That's better. So you should hear in a second it'll
Ignite.
light the glow plug, start dosing the pump. Assuming we've put the pump the right way around, because there's no markings on this particular pump. So we're taking a gentleman's guess.
This feels a bit like a rocket launch to me. It's a little bit scary. It's quite tense. God, it's making such a mad noise. Sounds like it's taking off. This is pretty terrifying, to be honest.
Oh my god. Nope. Fail start.
Just suddenly all went quiet and then it's come back on again with renewed vigour.
Now I'm wondering whether that pump's the right way around It's shutting down, it's resetting.
We're now happy that the water pump that's on it, that pumps the hot water around the circuit, is all right, and it's got like it's got rid of all the air and stuff like that, and that's pretty happy. But the other pump on it is a fuel pump, and that might not be all that happy because there's no arrow pointing which way it's pumping. So we might have put it on and it's just pumping the fuel back into the tank.
Taking it all back off again. The thing. Oh.
Pretty dry.
Rise a bone.
What do we think then? Fuel pump's on the wrong way around. We're cheating a little bit to see whether the pump is the wrong or the right way around. It's not a like advised procedure, but we're basically borrowing the bilge pump's electrical supply and just tapping it to sort of activate the pump, to activate the fuel pump, and David's got a finger over it, see whether it's
Pushing or pulling?
Yeah, pushing or pulling.
Hey, we've got fuel, right.
There's the pump on now, the right way around this time, so we'll give that another little test and see if it improves things. What do you reckon? Should we give it a go?
Yeah, you go for it. Go for it.
It's making all the scary noises. Oh.
Success.
Is it?
Yeah, it's running.
Is that it running?
Running full check now.
Oh, so that's it?
Yeah. Once you actually give it fuel, it'll run. Oh, look.
That's David's laser thermometer. There's nothing that can't be quantified. That is not it's not the final routing for the pipes, for the hose. That's just sort of like for testing purposes. We've just kind of put them across there like that, but in the end we'll tack them up and make them neat and stuff like that, make them not touch anything else. Ideally it'd be pretty good, but they're steaming away. There's hot water going through them one way or another. Oh, that's brilliant.
You think we've heard to coffee there?
I reckon. That's a pretty big success, I reckon, getting that thing working. So now we've just come back in here, a little warm up and a little coffee.
Boat life. It's hardcore, you know. Things you've got to do to get dry.
Your trousers look like...
Oh yeah, I think I'm either on fire or I'm drying. But it's nice and warm, so I don't really care.
Oh, it's really raining, and I'm having to recorded most of this on my phone today because the camera ran out of battery and I couldn't go back and get another one. But that's brilliant. That's quite a massive win now, to have hot water just kind of at the flick of a button.
I'm so impressed. Vic's just shown me a video of the hot running water. I want to cry. Like, that is so good.
It's brilliant.
I kind of can't believe that, like, it's like we've got hot water. Oh, like, we had hot water before, but this is a million times easier.
Yeah.
You should be really proud.
Yeah, I really am actually.
That you fitted that. So good. I can't wait. I really want to come and see it in action because it looked really steamy. It looked like really, really hot water.
It's too hot to wash your hands.
Oh God.
It's a big deal for us because before we had to run the engine for like an hour and a half every time we wanted hot water, and then that was like one tank full of hot water, but you use that up pretty quickly in the day, we learned. So this is just going to make life so much easier.
It's going to be great.
Even William's really excited.
We can't believe it.
Well, maybe we'll leave you guys here while we're just celebrating. But thanks very much for watching this video, if you made it this far.
Yeah, we'll just be washing our hands for the next week. Constantly. That's our celebration.
Yeah, we're just
That's how
going.
party times we are now.
We're just going to have a hand washing party with scalding hot water.
I'm excited about that though.
No, it is brilliant. I know that we probably seem really sort of lame, excited about that, but it's great.
Little things.
Anyway, thanks very much, guys, and we'll see you next week.